Hi, welcome to another episode of the Bitter Feminist Podcast. On here, we talk about feminism from an African woman's perspective. So today we are continuing a series we are doing on feminism and religion. This time around, we are talking about feminism and Islam, which is usually a sore topic because Islam is special and delicate. And any criticism usually comes across as Islamophobia. But don't worry, we're here to talk about the difficult topics. Duh. So let's get into it.
Like I always say, we eat controversy for breakfast.
Yep.
So, God, I beg you. All right. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let me even ask you first before we start. Okay, we talked about Christianity and the misogyny inherent. And it's not just Christianity. The three Abrahamic religions from Christianity, Islam and Judaism, they are the fundamental. They bond together. The similarity. You draw a Venn diagram. Where they will come together is misogyny. So, but today we're talking about Islam. Now, Islam's own Chiniki. Where do we even start? From the dressing, from the oppression, from the restriction of women. And the funny thing is, when we talk about this, and let's start from stuff like the dressing now. When you talk about stuff like this, in fact, let's even start from the mosque. Because in our family church, we have just like less than 6 feet. There's a mosque. It's in prison training school. So they are together. So we have, I think, for over 30 years now, where they go down my church, women are not allowed into the mosque. And that's one of my biggest. Every time I'm like, why? Women don't go into the mosque. The mosque is just for men. You see the men outside with their kettles and their mats. Women are not allowed into the mosque. And it makes me think, okay, does this mean this religion is just for men? That gives you an insight first before we even start going in. That gives you an insight into the misogyny that's inherent in this particular religion, where women are not even allowed into a place of worship. And then when I brought it up with some Muslims, and they were like, no, maybe because the mosque is small. Normally in other mosques, there's a section for men and a section for women, and that even makes you wonder, because that segregation alone, women stay outside, the women stay upstairs, the women stay, they don't mingle with whatever it is. The prayers, the teachings, how do they get it if they are staying outside or if they are not allowed in? And we start going to the restrictions from what they wear. The hijab is a choice, people. I want to beat you.
So the feminists that defend hijab is a choice.
Pick a venue. Let's fight. You people that say hijab is a choice. Because last year or just a few months ago, there was an uproar in one of these countries where women who refused to wear hijab were killed.
Every day they kill women in Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and you're like, and the people always say, oh, hijab is a choice. And yeah, maybe it's a choice for you. You live in Nigeria, you live in a liberal place,
you live in America.
Of course, exactly, it's a fucking choice. Your parents are liberal, so it's a choice for you to put it on, and then on days when you don't want to, you put it off. But that does not mean it is truly a choice. Women die for that piece of clothing, and you say it's a choice. You're basically gaslighting the rest of us.
And when you talk about it with Muslims too, they'll tell you, oh, it might be restrictive, but it's what they were told. This is how their men have their own. But if you inspect that, yes, there are restrictive clothing for men too, but for them it's optional. I've not seen where men were being flogged or harassed or stoned to death because they refuse to wear something, maybe all those their jalabia or something. For men, it is an option. For women, it is mandatory. And failure to comply brings punishment. So it doesn't even make sense, because, okay, if you're saying you don't want women to wear a certain item because it will lead to so and so, why do men why are you not choosing same for men? If you're saying, okay, their eyes are too attractive, they need to cover up, why don't men cover up too? This is the misogyny that is inherent in this type of religion, in this, from Christianity to Islam that we're talking about now, to a lot of them. This misogyny is there. This feeling that, or this knowledge, or this belief that women are I don't even want to say lower or inferior, because that one is women are nothing. where women are toys or slaves that you can, there are some things you read. There's this particular imam that will come online on Facebook and talk about how a woman is just there to be your sex slave. And this is an imam, I think it's Saudi imam. He talk about how women are supposed to be this, and if you don't have a woman, you can use a goat. And people tune in to watch this man. And people actually believe this. A religion founded on mutual hatred of women. And women actually comply. And sometimes when I want to complain about it, I'll just shut up because we don't even have it that bad. Yes, it is, but we don't even have it that bad. Imagine growing up with like Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Iran. What are you even going to say? What are you going to do? Women are not allowed to travel without
a mahram, a male accompanier.
Yeah. There was this thing I was watching, this documentary I was watching, where a woman was flogged over 100 times because she got a job. A woman was killed by her brother.
Oh, that's just another.
By her own brother, they call it honor killing, to remove the shame from the family. Because what did she even do? She traveled. She traveled without a male guardian. These are the things you see, and it fries your brain. And then you come to tell me that there is no misogyny in your religion, that your religion is a religion of peace and loves women. We read stuff, we see like here in Nigeria, that's Zamfara senator that married a 6-year-old, married a 9-year-old, they married a 9-year-old, and then they'll come and defend it like this is how it is. Our prophet said this is how it. And and it never goes the other way. You can never come out as a 60-year-old woman and marry a 9-year-old boy. Do you understand? So this is a religion that thrives on this, on such messiness. And people are like, no, it's a religion, leave him alone. Women came out to protest, to support him. No, it's a religion, leave him alone. Leave him, he's this, he's our that, he's our senator, leave him alone. It's our culture. It's not your culture. It's something you borrowed from your religion. And it's deeply rooted in staunch misogyny and hatred of women. So, I don't even know, Chinaya.
Like the part you mentioned about marrying underage girls. Yeah, I mean, pedophilia is something that happens across all cultures and everywhere in the world. But when your religion
sanctions
it, how are you as a woman, a feminist, a Muslim feminist, how do you again rationalize this? How are you okay with your holy prophet? It's been recorded that he married a 9-year-old girl. How does that make sense? So people be like, oh, it happened in the past. I'm like, that it happened a billion years ago does not remove the fact that it's pedophilia. Whether it was normal at the time, and people still stand on it too. They replicate this in 2023.
The only good argument I've seen about that, let me not even say good. The only okay argument I've seen about that was a guy who said, okay, he was betrothal, like he was betrothed to the girl, and this, and nothing
sexual happened.
Like,
I hear it, but I don't believe it actually. And that's another thing problem I have with the whole criticism of Islam, that again, I'm not a Muslim, from what I've seen, is the idea that Islam as it is perfect. There is no room for improvement, for change, for discussion, for critique, which is why most times radical Muslims go into the violent path to defend their religion. It is impossible to say that something that was found hundreds or thousands of years ago is perfect.
It's not.
That is a fallacy. I'm so sorry to say, it is a fallacy. You cannot say that things that was founded when things like the internet and phones did not exist is perfect.
Even your phone of 5 years ago has evolved. It's not the kind of phone. Remember BlackBerry?
And that is why you see countries that are usually predominantly Muslim are so deeply oppressive of women, because they are trying to imitate the Stone Age when women were like rags. At least the other countries try to even mimic some form of value for women. That is why you have things like the Taliban, ISIS, people who said Boko Haram, who say that you should not educate. Western education is not just Western education, but Western education from women, because they are trying to remove women from the public space. And that is what Islam sanctions. And I have a problem because when you try to talk about this, you see Muslims, liberal Muslims, Muslim feminists, they try to gaslight you and be like, oh no, this is not what Islam said, it's the culture of the people. How come this culture is always found among Muslim adherents? This is exactly what happened. And I've noticed something on Twitter. There is a trend where a deeply violently misogynist man is always trying to convert Islam, like Andrew Tate. You know, he converted, and why is your religion so welcoming of people like Andrew Tate? Where is the criticism?
So that
and they don't criticize him. And when people criticize, they'll be like, oh, leave it. That way, when is left for Allah to judge. And it's like, no, but you would judge women for dressing, you judge women for taking pictures. You know, there are some sections of Muslims that think that women should not post their pictures on social media, should not make videos on social media because it is around. It makes no sense.
And the annoying thing now is, let's assume, okay, this is restrictive, this is a conservative religion. Why is it only women that your conservativeness is pointed at? Why don't you have a problem with men making videos and posting it of themselves? Why don't you have a problem with men wearing short knickers? Why don't you have a problem with men dyeing their hair? Why don't you have it? Why, even when you have a problem, even when they have a problem with men, you know, doing it is muffled.
You know, they are very.
I remember that Hollywood actress that
took a picture
Rahama. Oh God, they did this woman waiting no good.
Not in Nigeria. Arewa went into a meltdown
because she took a picture without her veil or something.
She was wearing a backless dress. An actress.
There was a meltdown
in northern Nigeria. This is our northern Nigeria that we know. This one.
And once my problem with this thing is, once you want to start a conversation, they are quick to remind you that they are violent.
Oh, is their go-to.
And in violence.
Exactly the thing I said, hypocrisy.
Why can't we have these conversations? Why are we free to have it with other religions? But when it comes to this particular one, we draw
untouchable. Next thing you start hearing Islamophobia.
It's like, why?
No, there's no Islamophobia. People have the right to criticize aspects of, you know, religions that are oppressive, violent, and that's the problem. People, the ones who say they are not radical, they will be the ones to tell you, oh, these people are not, what they are saying is not Islam. Okay, but we don't see people criticizing the things that are done in the name of Islam, done in the name of Allah.
Okay, if you people are not comfortable with this, when you go to the mosque, what do you discuss about?
What do you say?
Do you people talk about it? Do you people, because we're not even, okay, the leadership roles in Islam are solely for men. But at this point, we're not even talking of equality. We're talking of women being treated as human
beings. So
treat them as human beings first before we
even get to equality.
Before we now come and start saying, why are they not female imams? No, that one is bad. Why are they being treated like slaves in the 21st century?
They will tell you that, oh, Islam, I see this on Twitter, they'll tell you that Islam is a feminist religion. Islam takes care of the rights of women. And I'm like, you people think we are stupid? When they are talking, they know what they are talking about. That Islam says that men, like husbands and wives, men have the right. You are entitled to your husband taking care of you. I'm like, that's not exactly a benefit. And that's people that are not Islam get those from. And nobody enforces that. If your husband says it's not, I don't know that there are no Muslim women with deadbeat husbands and fathers. What does Islam do about it?
I remember when we were talking, the first time I heard about Puda. That you can marry a woman and put her in Puda. She doesn't have to go out. She doesn't have to do anything. In fact, nobody gets to see her face except you.
Do you know what that means?
And I'm like,
that's chattel slavery. And when you say which women are choosing these lives?
No.
How are they raised? Like we say, choice feminism. You can't say they chose. Nobody chooses that life.
You can't even see your family members. You are just a thing
for a man
to
access at his own convenience
at his will.
You people actually make excuses for this.
I'm thinking, how, even if I were Oprah rich, I cannot marry a man and say, okay, guy, you're gonna date this house.
Confined.
It is not. That's like literal slavery. That is literal. But when you talk about it, they're like, no. It is my religion.
Next thing, violence will kill you, will behead you.
See, all these things are meant to be questioned, and you can't. I find that when I see Muslim feminists, I think I give them more props because they have more to battle than other
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot to battle, and when I see them still holding on to that religion, and at the same time holding on to the family, I'm like, this can't be easy. This is
You must be stressed.
You must be stressed because on one hand you have this religion that totally ignores you as a woman, that sees you as a thing. On the other hand, you believe in feminism, so it's a real tug of war. It's a real tug of war. Yes, every religion has aspects of misogyny, but this one is on a whole new level. It's hard. I'm just going to say, if you're a Muslim and you're a feminist, props to you. Man.
I mean, kudos to you.
Kudos to you.
I don't know what.
And I respect you a lot because even with all the strife, you chose yourself. You chose yourself. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that in every aspect in every clash you meet, you have decided to choose yourself. That is, I'm just going to give you that benefit of the doubt and assume that in every aspect that you meet, you have decided to choose yourself. I'm going to say it again. If you're a Muslim woman and you don't believe, you feel these things are, this is just too much, you can either extricate yourself from that religion or you can be a non-practicing Muslim.
Yeah, that's actually what I recommend because your religious people usually kill people that live the religion.
So just be a non-practicing Muslim. Just day your day.
Preserve your life.
Preserve your life. That is it. Be a non-practicing Muslim. At every point in time that you're going to see, it's not a clash that you experience once in a week. You'll be experiencing these clashes every single day.
No.
And I'm going to urge you to choose yourself. I'm going to urge you to take care of yourself first. Put yourself first. And this is not an opportunity for Muslims who live in places like America, the UK to come and say,
please, we don't want to listen. Come back to Nigeria or go to Afghanistan. Yeah, go there.
To Iraq
and do your liberal.
Go there and practice
your go there and say you don't want to wear hijab. There's a choice.
Because I remember the time I made a post about this. I made a whole post and just attached just like the hijab thing. It had nothing to do with hijab.
Yeah.
That day, over 200
deceiving
Muslims, and I knew they were Muslims. Arakabi Hilton. They were inboxing me, death threats. As they were coming in, I was blocking them. In fact, even the ones that were liking my comments, I was blocking them because I didn't want to. I had to close the comments of that post. They left the entire post.
Exactly.
Hijab is a choice. It is not a choice. You're not going to lie to me. You're not going to. We have eyes. We see.
We can see.
We hear of women being stoned. We heard of the massacre that happened in what country was that even said because of hijab. So if
hijab was a choice, what's happening in Iran today will not be happening because Iran used to be liberal. You could dress however you want, do whatever you liked, and now it is a deeply religious country. If you are not dressed in a certain way, you're dead.
Women are not even allowed to go to school like that. Now they are
this is I'm saying is maybe 40-50 years ago, 1970, women used to wear whatever, and all of a sudden it became an Islamic state, and the hijab is a choice came on.
Okay, like the news that trended that time about this country's president. I can't remember if it's Afghanistan or Iran, but it's an Islamic state. And he came to America and was scheduled to go on Christina Mampou's show.
Yeah.
And then just a few hours later, he insisted. He sent a message across that he would only come if Christina Mampou wears
veiled
hijab.
herself. Like,
and this was
how
something
dare you?
When this people had already agreed beforehand. On American soil, people had already agreed beforehand, okay, that we're going to have this interview. You never brought it in. But all of a sudden, just a few hours to do stuff, you said you gave this condition. And it was more of a power play and misogyny in power play than it was about anything. Because he goes around all through his stay in America. You're not telling me that he had to make every single woman he meets wear a hijab. So you see that this misogyny, it's in almost every layer. The hair thing will not take away anything from the interview. I'm just going to say that you're a superwoman if you're a Muslim and yet you're a feminist. You're a superwoman, and I hope that at every point in time that you're going to meet these clashes. You don't let them deter you. You're always going to choose yourself. And I hope that you understand that you are privileged to even have those views, to actually dare to believe that you are equal to men. There are a lot of women who cannot even start thinking that.
They cannot fathom the idea.
Cannot fathom the idea. So to even be a Muslim feminist is a privilege on its own. It's a privilege. You can't say wasn't it Sudan or Saudi Arabia that it was just 3-4 years ago that women were allowed to drive?
Saudi Arabia. A whole Saudi Arabia.
Whole Saudi Arabia that you people go there. Is it not where they go for Mecca? There's Abiy. Yeah, it's Mecca. That's what they go there for, all this thing, Al-Haji stuff. So I'm just
drive.
Women were allowed to, and it's not like they can drive now. You have to drive with a male companion. Like, it's not like you've gotten 100% leverage to drive. So if I were to drive, I would drive with my brother or my husband. At the end of the day, you find out that the things that's why I say that when I feel like religion is misogynistic, I acknowledge that, but when I come to Islam, I have to bow. This one is, this is it. This is the epitome of what other religions want to be. And that is why anytime you talk about Christianity, I'll be like, you cannot say this because
about Muslim. Well, we are saying it.
This is what they aspire to be, but they don't have the balls. So if you're a feminist woman and you're Muslim, you have to learn to you have to appreciate the fact that you're privileged to have that opinion, and kudos to you. At every point in time, I hope you pick yourself first, and I hope you understand. And if you're not a feminist woman and you're a Muslim, before you come to us, I hope you understand how privileged you are to actually be allowed to watch this show. Because if you were to go to places, countries that actually practice this the way you want, the way it should be, you will not have access to phone, let alone be watching.
Think about that before you come and argue with us.
So I think we're going to
we are good.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Subscribe, and also drag us in the comments.
As usual. Bye.